Good morning. It is Thursday, October 2nd. I'm Whitney Turner. Thanks for joining us for Catch Up Quick, WVLT's daily fastcast, airing 10:30 in the morning, Mondays through Fridays. An execution date is now set for the only woman on Tennessee's death row for a murder she committed in Knoxville. Krista Gale Pike execution is scheduled for September 30th of next year. Pike was convicted in 1995 for the murder of Colleen Slemmer. Her defense has fought the death sentence, citing Pike's 18-year-old age at the time, claiming she had severe mental illness as well. If her execution goes through next year, it will mark the first time Tennessee has put a woman to death in more than 200 years. And another Tennessee death row inmate from East Tennessee has an execution date as well. Gary Sutton was convicted by 2 juries in the murders of Tommy Griffin and Connie Branham in Blount and Sevier counties back in 1992. His family and supporters are pushing for him to get off death row. Sutton is set to be executed in December of next year. And a man who was reported missing back in April in Cumberland County has now been found dead. The sheriff's office says they found the remains of 84-year-old James Graves in a wooded area around Luminary Mountain in Bledsoe County. He was identified through dental records. The sheriff's office says this is not the outcome any of them had hoped for, saying they want the Graves family to know they have our prayers and support as they grieve this loss. Also in Cumberland County, a year-long investigation has led to 12 arrests. The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office says they were looking into rising number of overdoses there. That's when they discovered a drug trafficking organization in the county. The Sheriff's Office says they arrested the main supplier back in June and identified the 12 distributors in Cumberland County. Some of them were already in jail for other crimes, but now all 12 are in custody. The investigation's ongoing. The Sheriff's Office says more arrests are expected. And a man in Powell is coming up for parole, but the family of the victim is hoping he'll stay behind bars. Jesse Rogers was charged with the murder of John David Drummond 32 years ago. Rogers pleaded guilty to first-degree murder in 1994, and now he's got a parole hearing coming up in 2 weeks. Drummond's family says they want him to stay in prison.
Why does he get a second chance? My uncle never did or never will. It just don't seem fair. I don't want the murderer released back on our streets. I don't feel safe. If he was, I'd be in fear for the rest of my life.
Drummond's niece not only wants Rogers to stay in prison, but continue sharing the message about her uncle. She says everyone liked Drummond's, adding that he would do anything for anyone. Rogers' parole hearing is October 14th. We're going to have the update for you right here inside your WVLT News app. And it's now day 2 of the federal government shutdown. Right now, Congress remains deadlocked. Democrats and Republicans once again failing to reach a deal on a spending plan yesterday. The Senate is now on break until Friday, off for the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur. Democrats are holding firm on their health care funding demands and for the White House to promise not to rescind congressional spending. Republicans say they're willing to discuss health care, but not until later this year. The Senate will reconvene Friday. They're scheduled to vote again on the GOP funding measure, which previously passed the House. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is voting against the spending plan, so Republicans need support from at least 8 Democrats to reach the 60-vote threshold to pass the bill. And as the federal government shut down, parts of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park shut down as well. Sevier County is now stepping in with others to pay to keep the park open. The park's main roads are still open, but places like Cades Cove and some picnic areas are closed. Visitor centers are also shut down right now. Sevier County government officials say the county started last week trying to iron out a plan to step in and fund the $90,000 a day it takes to operate the park. For local tourism leaders like Amanda Marr with the Sevierville Chamber of Commerce, they're busy spreading a message that now is still a good time to visit the Smokies.
There are always countless ways to explore the great outdoors. You can always enjoy nature, whether it's enjoying our self-guided fall driving tours or checking out some of our great adventure attractions like zip lines, helicopter tours. There's always a way to experience fall in the Smoky Mountains, no matter what.
The agreement between the National Park Service and the county comes with an upfront payment of more than $600,000. Sevier County Mayor Larry Waters says all the counties, cities, and states that are a part of the park are contributing money to keep it open. Nashville police now releasing the body camera video of Morgan Wallen's arrest last year. The country music star from East Tennessee was arrested in Nashville for throwing a chair off a balcony. But the video shows Wallen and his bodyguard denying he did it.
If you don't see anybody throw anything, you don't have witnesses, you're accusing. What happened? I don't know.
The video shows Wallen calling the bar's co-owner, Eric Church, and handing the phone to one of the officers. Police reviewed security video, which they say showed Wallen throwing the chair off the balcony. They then handcuffed Wallen and put him in the back of a police car. He was charged with reckless endangerment. Wallen later pleaded guilty to 2 counts. And federal boots are on the ground in Memphis, with Tennessee's second largest city becoming the latest battleground in the Trump administration's sweeping crackdown on violent crime. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says at least 53 people have been arrested in Memphis since Monday. Bondi in Memphis yesterday, along with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. More than a dozen agencies like the FBI and Tennessee Highway Patrol are patrolling neighborhoods. At this point, it's unclear how many troops will be brought into the city. Bondi says they will charge anyone who touches a police officer with assault.
Memphis is an iconic city, and we are going to make Memphis safe again. That's why we're here.
Our department is here to enable you, law enforcement, to do your job, to help protect your facilities, help protect your people, so that your hands can be untied to secure your city.
No timeline has been released as for how long the task force will be in place in West Tennessee.
Your First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Kyle Granger.
Hello, my friends. 10:36 on this beautiful Thursday morning. The sunshine is coming out and temperatures already warming up into the 60s across much of the area. Look at Maynardville coming in at 68. 65 for Knoxville. Look at Gatlinburg at 60, Sweetwater's at 69, and Crossville checking in at 65. A few passing clouds for us for the course of the day today, and that's a story for much of the southeast as we look not only today but right on into the weekend. Your First Alert forecast for the rest of the day on this Thursday shows us that we keep the sunshine and up to near 77 at 2 o'clock. How about 82 for that 4 o'clock hour, back down into the 70s as we go into sunset and beyond. 76 for the 1 o'clock hour today to the low 80s by the time 5 o'clock rolls into play. 80 Sevierville, 75 in Hartford. How about 79 Lenoir City over to Loudon, 81 for Kingston. 77 Crossville to 78 Deer Lodge, Jamestown, 79 Williamsburg, Barberville, 78 Sneedville, 77 Morristown. Sevierville checks in at 80 while Gatlinburg's at enough to have a boat, or maybe you live by a lake, a sunset boat ride, or heading out to see that sunset across the smooth waters we expect, with lots of sunshine at 76 for that sunset tonight. We wake up tomorrow morning close to around 54 degrees, cool and nice and pleasant for us. Light winds continue, and then through the day we warm up on Friday into the 70s once again. Sunset on Friday night comes with a few clouds, but the stars and moon become the biggest winners. 70 for the 8 o'clock hour, 63 by 11. Your weekend forecast shows us that we do keep that same pattern of sunshine, warmth in the afternoon, and cool, crisp mornings that will be ahead right on through the weekend. Very much right at average. We go above average as we go into the rest of the weekend. And of course, the next week, we're looking at some warmer days back into the 80s for afternoon highs and overnight lows, back into the 60s with isolated to spotty rain chances for much of the early part of next week.
All right, Kyle, thanks so much. It was one of our top stories Wednesday. Knoxville City Council voting not to discuss a future sale of part of Chilhowie Park to the Emerald Youth Foundation. We're now getting Knoxville Mayor India Kincannon's reaction. In a statement, she says she's disappointed. Council voted to withdraw the $25 million investment in our youth, saying it was a rare opportunity to find safe activities for young people in the city, dating back from when gun violence was at an all-time high. She goes on to say her administration will not back down from investing in East Knoxville and our young people. Buzz is happening around in Newport as posters teasing new businesses now hang on buildings that have largely sat empty for years. Community Development Director Gary Carver says the push to get businesses downtown started long before the flood, calling the new attention on the city the silver lining of the tragedy. He says several developers reached out wanting to invest and be part of building the city up.
We're definitely on the way back up, maybe even better than before. It means that people see the potential here to invest in the redevelopment of downtown.
Custom crafted construction out of Sevier County is working on several buildings. One project is bringing 4 new businesses in the downtown dry goods building, including a steakhouse, hotel, and other stores. Carver says he hopes these projects bring even more private investment downtown, making Newport more competitive to attract big employers. And Carson Newman University is getting some national recognition. The school named Best in the South by the Princeton Review in its 2026 Best Colleges by Region. Carson Newman saw record enrollment this fall, nearly 3,000 students from 44 states and 49 countries. A reminder today that agencies from across the area are staging a full-scale emergency drill, practicing how to respond to a chemical spill. The drill will be at the Knoxville Dow Chemical Plant on Dale Avenue, just behind Fort Sanders. If you live nearby, you might see those flashing lights while driving on the Interstate 2. Just a reminder, it's a drill. A lot of first responders, sirens on scene. Police, fire, major hospitals, and the Knox County Health Department are helping take part. And a big heads up for all drivers on Alcoa Highway this weekend. The northbound lanes will be closed starting late tomorrow night for construction. Those lanes will stay closed until Monday between John Sevier Highway and UT Medical Center. If you need to drive in the area, TDOT says you've got a couple of different options.
Recommended way for folks to go who are coming from Blount County into Knox County is go Pellissippi Parkway westbound and then to I-40 and then back down to that area from there. You can also use John Sevier Highway to Chapman Highway as well.
Yeah, a lot of extra traffic going to be on Pellissippi and Chapman Highway because of this closure. It's all part of the massive Alcoa Highway project, which started back in 2016. TDOT tells us the whole project won't be done for at least 5 years.
We the People, celebrating 250 years of America. Sponsored by Garza Law Firm.
We are celebrating America's 250th birthday with interesting facts about the nation and Tennessee. On this date in 1871, one of Tennessee's most influential diplomats was born in a log cabin in Pickett County. Cordell Hull went on to become the longest-serving Secretary of State in U.S. history. He served nearly 12 years under President Franklin Roosevelt during World War II. Hull won the Nobel Peace Prize for his role in founding the United Nations. Thanks so much for joining us. Remember, you can stay up to date on WVLT.tv, inside the WVLT News app, and on WVLT social media pages. We're going to have your latest headlines coming up at noon.